Nuts. What a versatile thing nuts are. A heart-healthy snack, a good source of protein. Also, Reese's Pieces, Snickers. Need I say more? As long as you don't have an allergy, nuts are pretty damn great. And the good news is, there's a Christmas movie about them.
Oh no, actually that's bad. Welcome back to Scarfulhu, and Merry Christmas, I guess. This is a movie.
The Nuttiest Nutcracker is a short animated film from 1999, the same year as Toy Story 2. Not that it would be fair to compare the two, of course, since Toy Story 2 was a blockbuster hit by Pixar, and The Nuttiest Nutcracker was a direct-to-video movie from Columbia TriStar Home Video.
I only bring it up to provide context at the time. Maybe I shouldn't be expecting too much.
As the title suggests, this little piece of animated history is based on The Nutcracker, the ballet suite written by Tchaikovsky in 1892. It's the story of a young girl who shrinks on Christmas Eve after getting a nutcracker shaped like a little soldier, and gets caught in a conflict between gingerbread soldiers and a mouse king. It's a very popular tale, often retold through various contexts, but it's not really a story I'm overly familiar with if I'm honest. I only know of it by reputation. The Nuttiest Nutcracker is a retelling of the story with nuts. Talking nuts.
And did you miss me talking about weird animated Christmas movies? I sure did. Let's see what we've got in store this time.
The Nuttiest Nutcracker begins in the same way many Christmas movies do. A snowy shot in the sky, generic whimsy music. But we do then get this fairy lady making her presence known. And boy does she like to have her presence known.
Yeah, you probably figured it's the same old, but this one's got a nutty little twist.
Oh yeah, this one's got a nutty little twist. Oh boy.
The film soon introduces us to Marie and Fritz, a couple of children waiting for their parents to come home for Christmas. It doesn't really explain why they're not home, but there's some doubt about them actually arriving. Either way, Marie is a bit pessimistic about the whole thing.
They should have been here hours ago. I wonder if they are coming.
Nah, you're getting abandoned on Christmas for sure. Deal with it, kiddo.
Though their Uncle Drosselmeyer is present, and he's a strange and mysterious figure. Honestly, he kind of weirds me out. There's just something uncanny about his face. The style itself isn't too bad, especially for a 1999 direct-to-video movie. I've genuinely seen a lot worse, especially in the Christmas movie department. Stylistically, it reminds me a lot of the direct-to-video Barbie movies and stuff along those lines. You can't tell me they weren't at least a little inspired by Toy Story. I mean, look at that wall, come on.
And in a way, the Nutcracker is kind of the original Toy Story.
Anyhow, Marie's pessimism leads to a weird hatred for Christmas.
What's the big deal about Christmas anyway? I just wish it would go away forever.
You're a mean one, Miss Marie.
Now, we've introduced our human protagonist. You might now be wondering where the nuts come into the movie. Well, wonder no more. Here they are.
Give a girl some elbow room, will you?
Man!
Oh, those sure are some talking nuts, alright.
There are 6 main nuts, each with their own quirks and personality types, which you can glean from mostly just looking at them. There's Colonel, Gramps, Mac, Sparkle, and Stash. Oh, and the 6th is called Little P.
I'm very uncomfortable with that.
Something you're gonna realize early on is, well, this movie really loves terrible puns. Like, it really loves them.
It's academic, my macadamian friend. The girl is a human, and you are plain nuts.
In fact, let's get a pun count going for this movie, and see how many we can get before the end.
The nuts overhear Marie's chagrin for the season and decide they want to do something about it, which leads to Lil P, well...
Poor little P. And just when he was starting to come out of his shell.
Oh boy, this is gonna get old fast, isn't it?
Wait a second, I think that's Morse code. Let's hear it again. Uh-huh. Right. Fascinating.
Drosselmeyer gives the 2 children some gifts. Fritz gets a cannon and Marie gets the eponymous Nutcracker. She's instantly drawn to his woodiness, and the nuts are pretty excited about it too. So much so, they shift into exposition mode and talk about the history of the Nutcracker and its past with a princess and a mouse queen.
Yeah, but the old mouse queen, she was a real shrew.
I don't know if it's important, but I guess it details how this man became an actual Nutcracker, because he cracked a big nut.
And I'll have no jokes about that in the comments. I'm trusting you guys with this one.
You mean they were nuts for each other?
But basically the prince was cursed and now he's a wooden doll. Love lifts the curse though because blah blah blah, schmaltzy Christmas stuff, you know how it is. Antics ensue with Marie and Fritz, as the young boy takes the Nutcracker and drops him from the top of the tree, which just drops Marie further into melodrama.
Oh, it doesn't matter, really. I don't care about this dumb old Nutcracker or Christmas, or Mom and Dad not being here.
This is, of course, teen angst. Really, she loves the Nutcracker, but talking to him and smooching him is hard work, and she takes a little nap, as do the Nuts, which introduces us to...
Soon I will capture them all and command them to work in my cheese mines.
Cheese mines?
Anyway, this character, Reginald, is the son of the Queen from the story. And that's not something they unfold later in the movie, no. The fairy shows up again to literally just straight up tell us.
Was it necessary? Probably not. But here it is.
I'm the Prince of Provolone, I'm the King of Camembert.
Oh right, yeah. This is a thing too.
And since I'm always looking for new slaves to work my mines.
Why do I keep finding Christmas movies about slavery? How does that keep happening?
So yeah, this one has musical numbers. I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised, but at least it isn't bad.
The big cheese, I'm the big cheese.
It's just a song of cheese and slavery, which I think might be the title of a George R.R. Martin book. You know, I think this song is exactly what Tchaikovsky had in mind when he wrote the Nutcracker Suite. They've even got the cannons. Oh, and before I forget, Reginald is voiced by Jim Belushi.
Not sure what to do with that information, but there you go.
There are a few well-known voices in this one, like Tress MacNeille, Jeff Bennett, and Jim Cummings as well. Reginald's big villainous plan is to steal Christmas by taking the star atop the tree, which would make him the Christmas King. But first he has to get through the forces of Christmas. Toy soldiers and the food work together to defend the tree from the oncoming mouse army.
Food fight!
No, that's the other movie, but I can see why you might have been confused.
So yeah, there's a fight scene with all kind of foods and puns. Don't forget the puns. This is just an assault on the senses. I mean, surely it can't get any stranger.
Okay, I'll give you that one. It can get stranger.
Marie then wakes up amidst the chaos and reacts with total apathy.
Oh, man. That was an odd dream.
I think I'd be a little bit more concerned. Is it just me? That's like nightmare fuel right there. The chaos continues as Little P leaves Gramps to die.
Kids these days are brutal.
Why, you should be ashamed of yourselves chasing a bunch of poor unarmed nuts. What are you, a man or a mouse?
I'm, a mouse.
Well, in that case, I owe you an apology, son. Please resume.
Okay, that's actually pretty funny. When all hope seems lost, the Nutcracker Prince returned as an uncanny, handsome Ken doll looking dude. It's weird, this film has all the hallmarks of a typical Barbie type movie, like really. Blonde protagonist, handsome prince love interest, generic feel good story, it's a formula that works.
But it just, has nuts in it. Talking nuts.
And this is my face right now. What ensues is a sword fight between the prince and the Mouse King. You fight like a nutcracker. How appropriate. You fight like a cashew.
I'm sorry, I had to get that out of my system. You know what I'm like.
Look, a shooting star. Where? Come on, I want to see it. Gotcha.
They even pull out the classic three-headed monkey trick, which allows the king to get the upper hand.
Time to say goodbye, nut boy.
Sumith, she just called me Nut Boy.
Marie steps in, giving the prince a chance to sneak away, and for the Mouse King to, do this.
You're mad.
Mad with passion.
No, I don't like that. Jail. That's jail. Straight to jail.
Oh boy.
Jail, right now.
This is weird and uncomfortable. Why is this mouse lusting after a child? Ban this filth. In an attempt to fight off the king, Marie takes a star to brandish as a weapon.
I've heard of throwing stars, but this is ridiculous. Oh god, this movie's influencing me.
I'm falling for you in a big way.
Oh god, it never ends.
Uncle Drosselmeyer?
It's time for a little Christmas spirit.
Oh, he's back? Was he here the whole time? What you been up to, Drossy boy? Oh, apparently he's shrinking Marie down to the Nutcracker size so she can meet the gang.
Hey, you know they're nuts.
Where do you meet this squash? He's really out of his gourd.
Please stop.
Everyone's pretty pleased because Marie has broken the spell on the prince by loving him. But like, as a gift, right? Like, not in a weird way, right?
Right?
Mine are the people of the dessert.
Their joy is short-lived as they realize the star is gone from the tree.
Oh, no!
And I don't know what's going on with this character with the Rastafarian hat, but I'm pretty sure it's bad. It turns out Marie has the star, and it shrunk with her. Alright, cool. It needs to be back in its place by midnight though, so as long as the king doesn't kidnap her, things will be fine. The heroes forge a plan to make the ascent to the Christmas kingdom and return the star.
But where is it then? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it turns out there's a trick to this.
Sometimes you have to see as much with your heart as with your eyes. You have to have a little faith.
Are you ready for another musical number?
Oh, it's so beautiful.
All it takes is a little faith.
Testify!
See the world in a wondrous way.
So, yeah, this is a thing. It's also, like, not bad. Again, almost like something out of Hercules. It also goes on for a while, like a long while. Even this guy agrees, he's tapping his watch. I'm right there with you, buddy. Either way, by quote-unquote seeing with her heart, Marie travels to the Christmas kingdom in search of the Sugar Plum Fairy, accompanied by the nuts, some fruit, some vegetables, and the prince. And so far, this story is mostly in line with the original ballet. Other than the nuts and talking foods, it's surprisingly accurate. Back at the Mouse King's Cheese Factory castle, he recalls his meeting with Marie.
She has pluck. She has spunk.
I don't want to hear this man talk about spunk. That's just not on my to-do list.
Of course, Reginald sends his goons out to capture Marie, as is the inevitable course of this movie. It's not really surprising in any way, though I suppose it doesn't really need to be. I'd be holding it to too much of a high standard if I expected much different. But let me tell you, he sends his mice out on flying cheese bikes.
That is what sets this movie apart, you see.
Marie gets kidnapped by him, as expected.
Reginald, you rat!
What I didn't expect though was the love ballad next to the cheese river.
Just reach out your hand. I will hold it and help you stand.
Oh, it's literally a cheesy love ballad. That's fantastic. I love this garbage.
These songs honestly aren't even bad. In fact, they're mostly pretty good. They all feel like Disney songs of the era and they're even well sung. I can't pick out a fault with these at all, except maybe the slavery angle of the first song. That's a bit weird. But it doesn't last, because the singing prince in this love ballad is just a figment of her imagination. She's still a hostage of Reginald, who now wants to marry her.
Marry me, sweetheart.
No way, cheeseball!
You know, I'm fairly certain that's illegal in most countries, but I'm not well accustomed to the laws of the Christmas kingdom. Either way, bad.
But this is the point where Marie realizes her lesson and explains why Christmas is actually worth saving. There's almost a good bit of character development there, but it doesn't quite sell it. Because the scene just moves on before we get anywhere. Again, maybe I'm expecting too much, but they almost had it. It was almost kind of good for a moment.
All it got us was creamed corn, mashed potatoes, and diced carrots.
And we're back to the punning.
You know, I appreciate a good pun, but a pun is like a powerful flavour. In small amounts you can enhance the taste, but if you put in too much, it becomes overpowering and horrible.
You see, I'm using a food analogy because there's talking food in this movie. And also because I think my brain is turning to cabbage listening to some of the dialogue.
But don't worry, the movie returns to its ballet roots for a bit as we get a bit of Reggie trying to woo Marie, while the prince and his ragtag group of legume companions sneak into the castle. And then of course we get more food fighting. Because, of course.
Toast them like salad!
Careful now, this is a children's movie.
In their daring escape, the prince gets Marie to jump onto his cheese bike, while Reginald accidentally pulls a lever that puts his factory into overdrive.
Why do we even have that lever?
The heroes then pick up their nut friends from the cheese mines, blowing it up in the process. Cheese terrorism. And very soon, Reggie's cheesy empire comes crumbling down, literally. And when his bike runs out of cheesy steam, he plummets into the molten cheese.
Can't swim.
Doesn't that burn?
Drawing a conscience, Marie decides Reginald is worth saving after all, which turns out to be a mistake, as he grabs the star and drops it in the cheese.
I guess he couldn't behave himself. Oh god, I'm so sorry.
But he still gets saved before getting crushed by castle ruins. The Mouse King is touched by Marie's gesture, and I guess he's good now because of that. What about the vegetables who toiled in the cheese mines, huh? How do they feel about that? It doesn't matter though, because it turns out that Reginald has the star after all, even though we did see it get dropped. Okay, fair enough. And he gives it back.
Ah, it's Christmas magic, who cares?
With all that sorted, they finally go to see the Sugar Plum Fairy, who, surprise surprise, is the narrator fairy also.
There you are. I was wondering if you were ever gonna make it.
That's the Sugar Plum Fairy?
Yeah, that's about how I feel too.
The Sugar Plum Fairy gives off some feel-good fluff about how the star had the power all along, so it can easily be returned by midnight. So Marie says goodbye to the Nutcracker Prince and his friends and wishes to see her parents again. And oh, look at that, she's back in reality.
It seems you had quite a fall.
Yes, I'm fine. Oh, Mother, I wish you could have been there. There was a Mouse King and a beautiful land called Christmas, and there was a prince and...
Maybe don't tell her about the talking nuts.
So everything is fine once again. Oh, but the prince is human now, I guess.
I said I'd always be with you.
Alright, fair enough. Schmaltzy ending. What do you expect?
Oh, jingle bells. I do love a happy ending.
And that's it. That's the Nuttiest Nutcracker. Okay, so the Sugar Plum Fairy tries to interrupt the credits to break the fourth wall.
All right, forget it. But don't come to me looking for help the next time. Man, have I worked up an appetite. Where's the chocolate?
But it's still done.
Anyway, what's our final pun count? Let's go to the numbers.
Looks like we ended up with a total of 20 puns. And with a runtime of 48 minutes, that means we had a pun on average of roughly every 2.4 minutes. Interesting. Might not sound like much, but it definitely feels like it. I'll give the golden macadamia for the best pun to this one. And the cracked peanut for the worst pun goes to this one right here.
Mine are the people of the dessert.
So, that was interesting.
I'll be honest, I've seen worse. I've reviewed worse on this channel. This one is just a bit eccentric and off the wall. The animation is fine. The voice cast was pretty well. The music is actually good. The plot is predictable and the writing is kind of cringy at times, but yeah, I get it. At less than 50 minutes, it doesn't drag on too much either.
It's not really a good movie, but it's not really a bad one either. It's 50-50.
I think half of it is decent and the other half is just a bit too weird for its own good. I blame the nuts. I think those nuts are just a bit too much.
I just wish we could teach these nuts a lesson, make them atone for their sins. Luckily, I'm not just the guy.
Hold on there, little Pete. Don't you go running off.
You're gonna love my nuts. Watch this. Almonds, walnuts, comes with a cover, so you can do everything in the cover, all right? Or you can do it on the board, whatever you'd like. It's so easy, one finger. If I can do it with one finger, you guys can do it with your whole hand. Kids can do it. You know what they charge at the ice cream stores? $1 for toppings at the ice cream store.
Oh wait, that was the Vince zone. Oh, they're not going to atone from that one. Oh well.
Merry Christmas, folks. I hope you've had a wonderful holiday break, and I hope it wasn't too nuts.